Welcome to Backpacking Adventures. I'm Dan. Today I'm going to be going over my 2019 three-season gear list for backpacking. One thing I do want to point out is that the three-season spring, summer, fall, there isn't an actual cutoff where I actually switch over to this list. It's more transitional. So I really don't have a complete three-season finalized list. This is just what I have and what I'm using at the moment. But usually as it gets warmer, I bring higher degree quilts, and as it gets colder, it transitions and I bring more clothes and so forth. So with that, I started backpacking about 2 years ago. And like most people that started out, well, actually, I did go on a backpacking trip back in like 2005, which I believe I have some pictures I can show you here. But like everybody else, my pack weighed about 50 some pounds. It was horrible. The trip was fun, but every trip since then, I have learned to look at my pack, see what I don't need, and not take it. One thing I did realize is the bigger the backpack and the more pockets you have, the more you're gonna fill them. And I did. I mean, I would bring a lantern, big pocket knives, like 2 of them, 3 flashlights, a headlamp, just to be safe. So now I think I have it kind of dialed in. So with that, let's get started over the list. So this is my whole 3-season kit. I'm going to go over everything individually a little bit later. But we have my backpack, seating pad, sleep system, quilt, shelter, hammock. I do sleep in a hammock, by the way. Pillow, water, cook kit, toiletries, electronics, and miscellaneous, packed clothes, rain gear, and then worn clothes and trekking poles. So I'll be going over all these individual pieces. All right, so first is my backpack. This is the Z-Pax Nero. The pack by itself, without any accessories like the shoulder pouches, is 10.8 ounces. Each one of these shoulder packs weighs about 1 ounce. I use 2 because I do not use a hip belt. However, I did make one modification to this because on most backpacks, they have a strap on the top where you can put wet clothes or whatever. So I kind of jerry-rigged one. So I bought a Dyneema stick-on pull-out for tarps, put that there, kind of sewed on a connector and added a strap. So I do have now a strap on the top that I use it quite a bit, so I really love it. The main body of this is 25 liters. In hindsight, I really wish I would have gotten something just about a little bit bigger, maybe 5 or 10 more liters. The total pack is 38 liters. Like I said, the main body is 25. The big mesh pocket is 8. I love this pocket, holds a lot of stuff. Each one of the side pockets is 2.5 liters. So this is a very simple backpack. There's no belt. I don't use a belt. On heavier loads I do, and this goes up to about comfortably 20. I've had it to about 23 and I was okay with it. But it's simple. There's not many pockets, so the less pockets you have, the less you're gonna, or the more you're gonna think about what you take. So the one item on the back, which gets into my sit pad, and I don't use the normal Z seat. I do have one. I like it, but what I decided to try out was this 1/8 foam pad from Gossamer Gear, and this thing works great because it's very cushiony. It's more cushiony than the Z seat, and it's more versatile because I can lay it out and use it as a siesta mat. You can see I have duct tape already got a hole in it. I also use it in my hammock if there's any cold spots, but what it does is it also fits in the shock cord in the backpack, and it also acts as a little bit of cushion for your back. And also a little bit of stability as a frame. Works out really well. This is a frameless pack, so it will feel hotter on your back, but you get used to it. Doesn't bother me at all. And I sweat a lot anyway, so having the arc or having this really doesn't make a difference. Inside the pack, this is made of Dyneema. It's very water resistant. I was out in the pouring down rain and I did not get any water in this. The seams are taped, Velcro top, roll top down. But as a precaution, I do use a Nylaflume pack liner bag. You can get these on Lightsmith. I think you can buy a pack, I don't know, 3 for like $4 or something. I think this is that material that you put on your windows as insulation in the wintertime. It's very strong. I've been using this for quite a while, probably a year, no punctures, but put everything in it. This is like a giant dry bag and it keeps everything as a backup dry. I don't really use dry bags much, which you'll see later on, unless it's a whole bunch of small items, but pack liner, this thing weighs, I don't know, probably less than an ounce, maybe an ounce. Okay, for my shelter, I'm a hammock sleeper, and this is the Dream Hammock Darien, weighs about a pound. I'll go over this in more detail in another video, but I do have, this has a gear loft inside I got from Dutchware. Also have the poly ester straps with the, I don't know if you can see them, but these are the beetle buckles. Work very well, they're easy. You don't have to have your hammock fully attached like some of the whoopee slings and other cinch buckles. It just kind of loops around. Very easy to pull, to adjust. Works out great. So again, I'll show this in another video. As far as my tarp, this is the Hammock Gear Palace. I do have a Z-Packs standard tarp with doors. This also has doors. I believe the measurements, this is, my hammock is 11 feet. My tarp is 12 feet. My old tarp was 11, so I went a little bit bigger. It also has about a foot additional on each side, so I can, in the wintertime, go down to the ground almost, or in the summertime, go real wide. So this has a continuous ridge line, which I'll show you this in another video, where the hammock attaches with pressic knots. Very easy to slide back and forth. I store it in this mesh, so that way if the tarp gets wet, it'll dry a little easier. Also holds it together, easier to pack away. And the continuous ridge line, and again, is pool tight using this little Dutchware wasp. As far as stakes, these are, I don't even know where I got these. I think I got these in one of my first attempts at buying a tarp. I can't even see it, light something or other, but they're aluminum, very lightweight. They're longer. I have smaller ones from Z-Packs, but I find that they pull out of the ground a little bit. So this also has a tarp worm on it. I keep my lines attached, and I'll show you when I set up the tarp in another video. I have some shock cords on the tie outs where this connection make a loop, and it's just a much easier and faster setup. Easier to adjust, easier to take down, just easier all the way around. All right, so this is my sleep system. Since I'm a hammock camper, I use quilts. This is the Hammock Gear Burrow 40 degrees. This is a very nice quilt. It's down, I think it's $9.50 down. I did get the sewn foot box, didn't like the zippered with the drawstrings. I think this, for me, this works a lot better. You'll notice it's not a really wide quilt. That's because I am in a hammock. And along with that, I do have my under quilt. This is the Hammock Gear Phoenix, and it's a 3/4 length, which means it goes from my shoulders to about mid-calf-ish, somewhere around there. You'll notice the stuff sacks, I don't use the stuff sacks, I only use them to lay them all out on my table, but this is the Phoenix, and it does have them marked by the head end and the foot end. It's tapered. This is $9.50 down. This is a 30 degree. That works better for me for the mix of temperatures for late spring all the way through mid to late fall. So these work out really well. Oh, I also have, I don't even remember where I got this. I think I got this from Dutchware. It is a pillow for your hammock. You can connect it inside your hammock. It weighs, might be a luxury item, but it weighs like an ounce, maybe an ounce and a half. It's down-filled, very comfortable, and it's just enough that when you're back of the helmet, just to, back of the head, just to support your neck. Anything bigger than that, and it'll push your head down and be very uncomfortable. So this is a great addition. Packs down real small. It's perfect. Okay, for water filtration and storage. Water filtration, I use the Katadyn Be Free. This is the 1 liter version. I also have, I think it's a 0.6 bag, and I also have a 3 liter bag. Usually for trips around here, there's plenty of water. I live near the Appalachian Trail. With all the rain we've had over the last, well, almost 2 years now, finding water is not difficult. And so you would need to do a long water carry. But this filter is very nice. It's very easy. It's faster flow rate than the Sawyer. You can also use this as a water bottle if you want. The only drawback is the threads are proprietary. So you can only find things that fit. The Sawyer can fit on smart water bottles and other bottles. As far as general storage, I use 2 1 liter smart water bottles with the sport caps on them. And these work out great. If I think I might need some extra storage, I do have that 3 liter bag for the Katadyn. I also have Knock Vecto bag that they do make a version that does fit these. So that's nice. I have that. I switch that out from time to time. And I also have a little water scoop made from part of a old water bottle. Weighs nothing, but I've had to use it a couple times. Works well in scooping water out of low water sources where you can't get your bag or your bottle in. So it works out great. All right, as far as food storage, my cook kit, I use the Light AF Big Bear Bag kit. This is made of Dyneema. Roll top, can fit about 5 or 6 days of food if you pack it right. Also comes with the whole bear bag kit comes with this little rock sack, some line, which is very thin, so it's very hard to grip it. And this little, what they call a little PCT stick. I prefer the PCT hang for my bear bag, and this just makes it easier. You kind of just twist it around and it connects right away. My spoon, the Toke's long handled, polished. I like that a lot better. Works out well. It's smoother. Doesn't feel gritty like some of the other ones that are just this titanium the whole way around. I also like the spoon better than a fork. I had a spork once before. Didn't really like it, and I do put a lot of my meals in freezer Ziploc bags and cook out of them. I did have one time where it kind of punctured it. As far as my cook kit, keeping a little Dyneema stuff sack, keep it in with my food bag. Outside is a pot cozy. It's not the best looking pot cozy in the world. One of my first attempts at making, but it works really well. Like I said, I cook out of Ziploc bags most of the time. So what you can do is after you pour the water in, you can put it in here and it acts like a cozy. Putting them in Ziploc bags just makes it a lot easier to pack, and it takes up a lot less space, and believe it or not, it does save some weight. Even though it's grams, it does save some weight. For my cook pot, I do use the Toke 700 milliliter. Has the long handles. It's a smaller pot, but it's wider. Makes it easier to stand. The lid for the stove. Oh, the only thing I don't like about this pot is it doesn't have markings for it. The stove I chose to use this time around for this season is the Pocket Rocket 2. I do have, and I've been using the BRS, I think it's 3000. It's like $14 on Amazon, but been doing some research more on it, and a lot of them have been failing. I know a lot of people are doing their through hikes with them, but I figure just for 1.5 ounces more, I'll just go with the tried and true Pocket Rocket 2. Of course, the canister. I do have a small Bic lighter I keep in here, and I do keep another lighter as a backup. I just cut out a little piece of microfiber towel. It's absorbent, as for cleaning out, or if it's hot or whatever. Has a lot of usage. This here, since the pot does not have the measurements, I kind of drew them out. Probably hard to see, but I can put that in there and pour the water and get the correct measurements. That's it for my cook kit. All right, so now we're going to go over what's in my electronics miscellaneous bag. First, I keep everything in a Z-Packs medium roll top dry bag. Works out pretty well. As far as electronics, I have the NU25 headlamp, rechargeable, works great. I did have a black diamond. I found that it was complicated to use because to get the different lights, you had to push this button with that button in different times and different things. So this one's much easier. It has a button for white and a button for red. I do have the shot cord, the Lightsmith mod. It basically saved 1 ounce. So this weighs altogether about 1 ounce. Really good. I do use, I have multiple anchors. If I'm going out for 1 or 2 nights, I'll use this, the 6700 milliamp anchor. It only has 1 port, but for 1 or 2 nights, works out well. More than that, I'll use a 10,000 or my 13,000 milliamp. As far as cords, I have this cord I can also use to charge the anchor, but this one is for the headlamp. I have a little tiny one I got off of Amazon for my iPhone. It's amazing how much weight you can save by going from 4 feet cord to 3 inches, 4 inches cord. I do have headphones. Now, I don't normally keep these in this bag. I keep them in one of my shoulder pockets for when I want to listen to music on the trail. Another part of electronics is a tripod, just a little cheap one that I use filming on my iPhone 10, so that's what I use on the trail. I keep my main lighter. This one is for making fires or whatever as my backup. I have a Victorinox Swiss Army knife. This is pretty much all I need. I found that one of the things I found through reviewing my gear was my knives, my big, buck knife kind of things. Never used them. So this has a blade, scissors, tweezers, and a toothpick, and a little tiny screwdriver. So I still haven't used it yet, but I have it with me in case I need it. But it works out well. I do have a little bit of cordage here. I think this is Zing It. But I'll use this. It weighs probably ½ an ounce. If I need to do a line to hang my clothes, if I need them to dry or hang the quilts, or one of my guy lines to my tarp breaks or whatever, I'll have some extra cordage. It's not much. I do have this little compass. I don't really find the need to take anything more than this. It has a thermometer. If I'm going on a trail that I know is going to be poorly marked, or I have to use map navigation, I would take a map compass. This works out well. Just little carabiners from Z-Packs. I don't really know why I have them in here, but I do use them sometimes for hanging my bag on the ridgeline. Here is kind of a whole bunch of stuff. This is my miscellaneous bag. This has, I got this out of another first aid kit I had, but it's really light, and it's like a gauze bandage to wrap in case you get a sprained ankle or something. I don't know, it's one of those, you pack your fear, so that's what that is. I do have a repair kit. This has a little thread and needle. Since all my equipment basically is Dyneema, including my tarp, I have a couple different strips of Dyneema. One's a patch, one is square, and I do have some Dyneema tape in here and use that for repairs. I do have, I didn't take a whole box of matches. These are waterproof. I just took a few, just in case for whatever reason the lighters are waterlogged and I do need to build a fire, so that's in there. This little emergency whistle. Probably should keep it on me, but I don't. This I got from Z-Packs. This is Dyneema thread, and it has a needle that's curved. I did use that to attach some of those straps to my backpack for that mod I showed earlier. But this is in case I do have to repair any of the Dyneema packs. I do carry this little signal mirror. I know it's tiny, but it would work in a pinch. But I also wear contacts, so this is basically for that, or if you get something in your eye or you need to see something. So it works out well and it doesn't weigh anything. First aid kit, I keep it in a light AF first aid pouch. There's really not much to this, but I'll go through this and I'll make another separate video on details of this. But there's basically leukotape, just some assorted pills, and some like Neosporin, and that's about it. All right, so now let's get into my toiletries. I keep everything in this Z-Packs Dyneema bag. The zipper's waterproof, they're water resistant, but it keeps everything in there pretty well, keeps it dry. If you'll notice the way I have my ditty bag set up, I know a lot of people just put everything in one. I separate mine by basically smellables and non-smellables. So my electronics bag and everything I just went over, that's the non-smellable, and this one's a smellable. That way I just keep everything in here, and at the end of the day, if it's not already in my food bag, I just throw the whole thing in my food bag, except for this is always on the outside, so I have to make sure I throw that in there too. But I don't know, that works for me. Keep them separated. I don't have to worry about thinking about it at the night or miss something. First, I just have a Ziploc bag with Z-Packs toothbrush, half of it. I do have these tablets, these toothpaste tablets. They're from Lightsmith. And I do have Picardin, 2 packets of the lotion for bug repellent. I do have a little tiny thing of super glue in case I have to make repairs, or if you would ever get a big gash, it works for that as well. These are wet wipes that I had dried out. I didn't get a chance to try these yet, but they say you just add water to them and then they reactivate, and they're just as good as new, but you can save a lot of weight by drying them out, so we'll see how they work. I do carry at least one means to make fire. This is wet fire starter. If I'm going out for multiple days, I'll at least take one for every day I go out. I take an extra smart water bottle cap because you'll most likely lose one. I got toilet paper. I got the Deuce of Spades trowel for my poop kit. I do keep my poop kit in another Z-Pack small Dyneema bag. Works out well. Keep that in my toilet paper. I do have a pack towel. It's a real small one, but it works great for what I need. It has the little clip to clip it on your pack to dry it off, so that works well. I do have a light AF little wallet that I keep my card and money in, keys, whatever, what have you. And I do have a little foot massage ball. I do have plantar fasciitis, so this helps out throughout the day or at the end of the day. And this normally stays on the outside of my pack as well. And then of course the Purell hand sanitizer. That stays out in one of the shoulder pockets in the mesh for the daily use. All right, so now we're going to talk about my pack clothes. First of all, I keep all my clothes except for my puppy in this, I think it's medium size, Z-Packs Dyneema stuff sack. Works out well, keeps everything dry. I have an extra pair of Darn Tough socks. Oh, and by the way, all these clothes were treated with permethrin. So I do that to keep the bugs off, and then I'll use Picardin lotion just on my skin as I need to. Darn Tough socks work great. Sock liners. I've kind of been trying without these sock liners because I switched shoes, which we'll talk about a little later. But yeah, these work great to help prevent blisters. I do have this light Polar Max. You can almost see through it. It's very cheap. You can get it on Amazon. I use this for warm weather. This is like a sleep shirt, or if it gets a little bit chilly, I'll have a base layer. Works out great. It's a little bit more loose fitting. I would not wear this in like late fall or in the winter. I have different gear for that. But it weighs like 3.5, 4 ounces. So my other stuff weighs about 7 ounces each. So this works out well. I don't take a base layer or tights bottoms. I have these wind pants from Enlightened Equipment. They weigh about 1.5 ounces. They are very thin, but they do keep they're good vapor barrier. And in a pinch, they would help me because I only usually wear shorts hiking. I don't wear hiking pants unless it's cold, so these work out well. I got a fleece beanie from Z-Packs. Since I use quilts, it's not like a mummy bag where it can go up over your head. So if it's a cooler night, this will keep my head warm. And again, I take it because it weighs like, I think 0.8 ounces or something like that, so it's very light. And last but not least, for my pack clothes is my puffy. This is from Enlightened Equipment. I don't normally keep, it doesn't really stuff in the pocket. I kept it there for my picture on the table. This is synthetic, very warm. I like this a lot better, and I did get a synthetic because all my quilts and everything else are down. So I figured if something would get wet, synthetic still keeps you wet, so it's that one thing I can still use to keep warm. Also, since I have a 3/4 length quilt, I can wrap it around my legs if my bottom of my legs get cold, or just to take the chill off. This goes with me all year round. It's only about, I think it's 8.2 ounces or something like that, and this is the extra large. So no reason not to take it, and it's better to have the warmth when you need it. All right, for rain gear, I use the Outdoor Research Helium 2 jacket. Works out well for me. For the summertime, I don't really wear this as a rain jacket. It's mainly for wind protection, mainly because in the summertime you're going to sweat no matter what. I do have these Virtus Z-Packs rain mitts. These work well to keep your hands warm if it gets cold. Work out pretty well. Probably don't need them in the summertime, but I figure I'll take them. This is my Z-Packs rain kilt. It's more like a skirt. You wrap it around your legs. Keeps your shorts dry. It also sits on the hammock camper. I put this under my hammock as a ground sheet to keep my pack and everything else dry and clean. All right, so lastly, it's my worn clothes. This is everything that I usually wear for hiking. First off, just a tech shirt, tech tee. This one's Nike Dry Fit. Again, all my clothes will be treated with permethrin. This works out well. These are Under Armour running shorts. Can't remember what the actual name of them are, but they did have the liner in it. I cut that out because I don't like that. But these weigh like 3 ounces. They're very light. They're ventilated on the side. Very good for warm weather. I use the Exficio, whatever you say, briefs for underwear for hiking. Darn Tough socks, just like the other ones. Sock liners, just like my extra pair to pack. I do carry a buff. This thing works great. In the summertime, usually keeping the sweat off or wiping things off, wiping myself off. Wintertime, it's good as an extra layer. You can do all kinds of things with it to keep your ears warm or just your neck warm. Works out well. Dirty Girl gaiters. These go on my shoes. These keep all the rocks and little sticks and everything out as best you can. So these work out well also. My shoes are the Hoka Stinson's ATR 5s. Now, last year I did use the Lone Peak Ultras 3.5s. However, no matter how much I used them and trained in them, my calves and everything else hurt. I did like the wide foot box, but the zero drop just couldn't do it. I do have very high arches and wide feet, so I pretty much have Franken feet. So I did do some research and ended up with these shoes. They do have a wide toe box, and this whole part of the heel, this is all cushion. This is not wrapped around my foot. This is total cushion. So basically when I'm walking on these, man, it is like walking on a pillow. So for my heels that hurt, my plantar fasciitis, these things, I can really go the long miles, over 20 miles a day with these. Other shoes, probably no way, but these are great. And last are my trekking poles. These are the Black Diamond Alpine Cork. I think these are carbon fiber. Work out very well. I do keep duct tape on the one for repairs and different things. I use these also for my hammock tarp to put it up in porch mode and some different things, or for whatever reason, if I do have to go to the grounds, there's no trees, I can set up my tarp between these two things. So these work out pretty well. If I didn't have these, I would have rolled my ankle I don't know how many times, and this really makes it better on the uphill and downhills. All right, so here's everything packed in my Nero. Everything fits great. I still have some room in here. I could probably use this for a good 3 to 4 days max. After that, the weight of the food will weigh the pack down a little bit too much, and then I would switch to probably my hard Paul. But total weight in ounces for this is 149.5 ounces, which is 9 pounds 6 ounces. So this is an ultralight setup for 3 season. I started adding things, no longer ultralight, but that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, press the subscribe button down below. Thank you.